What's up, everyone? I'm Merc, and this is Trading Shots, a show where our panelists debate all things CWL, and I'm handing out points for strong arguments and hot takes. This is the last episode of the season, and from everyone here at Trading Shots, we wanted to say thank you for your time and passion. Without you, the audience, this show would not exist. It means the world to us casters, the players, our staff, and the crew that you have continued to watch our show. So thank you, and we will see you next season. Now, I want
you guys to run a reel of all the times I've been right.
I will say
it would not be that many.
Panelists, you tell us if the teams will win more or less than that amount. Here we go. We're going to take a look at our top four from Las Vegas, starting with Optic Gaming. We put Optic at 17.5 wins. Nameless, as I said, you're up first. You're in the lead. Go ahead.
I think Optic Gaming will get more than 17.5 wins.
You think 18 at the minimum?
I think at the minimum. And the reason being is I think that Optic is extremely dominant right now in this game.
Pack, you're in second. What do you think? Over, under for Optic. What you going with?
I'm going with a less emotional appeal. Last season, I believe Rise went 13-1 first league.
Right.
And I think Red Reserve had the most wins at 11 the second league. It gets harder as it goes along. 13-1, like that's going to be hard to replicate. I think they just have too many losses early on, or even, and in the second half it just gets harder. There's more parity across the league. I have to put Optic at under, but that's just because I'm respecting the competition around the league.
Ben, you're in third place, but this is your time to turn it around. Over, under on Optic Gaming.
First of all, this is a silly question because we're basing it off performances from last year to give you a number, but all the information we have is what we saw in Vegas. Now, who is the best team in Vegas? Optic Gaming, by far. The only other team that they need to worry about that can beat them is LG that's in Division A. Are they going to beat LG? Absolutely no shadow of a doubt there. Why? Because Optic Gaming have just been better. And here's the other kicker. While the PLQ was going on, who was Optic playing against? Who were they practicing against? Well, the other three teams in the top four. What does that mean? They're only going to get better and better and better. Division B, no one touches them in Division B. Optic Gaming, over.
We're moving on to Eunited. They were our runners-up at CWL Vegas. We're going to put them at 16.5 wins. Pack, over, under Eunited 16.5.
I'm going under again. I just think that that's such a strong record.
I'm going to have to disagree. I do think they go over. And here's the reason
Think they go
why.
over?
I think they go over, and here's why. In every division, there has to be a couple of teams which do perform well. And I look at Division B and I think, well, it's definitely the less stacked division. And United has shown us from Vegas that, bear in mind, that's what we're going off.
And what do you think about Eunited? 16.5 wins, over or under?
Under, 100%.
Coming up, we're going to take a look at Splyce. They were third place at CWL Vegas. We put them at 15.5 wins. Ben, starting with you at Splyce. Over, under with Splyce.
I'm amazed that they're as low as that, as 15.5. That's very, very low.
I think they're going to be over. One team has to do it in the division, and I think it's going to be Splyce.
I'm going to put them at the under. I'm going for the under.
Negative points right
Listen
now.
to me. Listen to me. 15-7 exactly.
Luminosity, 14.5 wins. And this was your guys. These were your team to win. CWL Vegas, 14.5. Over, under, what do you think?
Okay, I got to be realistic, right? I think they're right on their mark, but if I had to pick, I would say under. And the reason being is that they just haven't impressed me, man.
They're right on their mark to Ant's point, but I feel like it's going to be under.
I'm going over. I have too much faith in the roster that they have.
Well, for First Blood, I'm going to give each of you a pool, and you have to predict who will come out of it. Nameless, you're up first. I'm going to give you Pool A.
I mean, it's pretty hard to say anything other than Gen.G and Heretics, right? Like, Heretics, they started off their Pro League division on a hot streak. They were dominating. They started off beating Eunited, and then they kind of coasted to that 4-0. You know, they start to lose a couple matches, but, you know, over time, you're bound to lose a game. That happens in every single Pro League. You start to let up, and you start to try to test your map pool. But now they know what they're really good at, and they're also not going up against the best of competition here. UYU and Denial haven't looked too good. Denial didn't even switch their roster. They're the only team of the bottom 5 teams in terms of record and statistics in the league to not change. So you look at that and you're like, okay, we're definitely going to win that. And then you got Gen.G as well, who, you know, they made a change trying to upgrade, and they look great the whole time. #1 in their division overall. Like, this is just a solid team, and those two teams will be the ones coming out.
Pac-Man, Pool B, who are the top 2. And again, this is just who's getting out to the winners bracket. Those bottom 2 teams will go to the losers bracket, but I want to know who's coming out to winners.
So for me, first off, I have to go with the 100 Thieves. They just look so strong in their 2 weeks. They improved drastically. They came off a perfect week. They finished 8-2 in hardpoint. Their only struggle really was search and destroy. They were 4-4, and we all saw them choke one tremendously. So if they improve at all in that aspect, I can't see a way that 100 Thieves doesn't come out the way that Priesta and Slasher played. If they keep up even with a little bit of that pace, they're gonna make it out. Now the other one is Red Reserve and EG. I know EG struggled so hard in their time at the league, but something about them. They were top 8 team at Vegas. They finished the POQ 5-1. They made a roster change. The only issue is I don't know if that roster change is going to be enough. They struggled too hard in control. They were 1-6. They didn't win a search their entire time. Now, they have beaten Red Reserve twice now. They're 2-1 in a match count versus them. The issue is they got 3-0 last time, and Red Reserve still has the map win advantage, 7-6, even though they lost 2 series. I'm going to go with Red Reserve as the second team to come out of that. I just think that they're too strong. There's not enough from EG.
Pool C, who are the top 2?
So for me, coming in, if you'd asked me this question last week, it would have been a little more difficult, Joe. But it's simple. This is the easiest one. So thank you for giving me the easiest one.
Sure.
It's Splyce and LG. And I don't see how you can argue anything else at this point. And the reason behind it is you would think Midnight, you look at the record in the league, they're 5-2. Wow, what a record. They're surely going to cause some upsets. We'll get to that a little bit later on. They're no longer a contender in my mind. Why? You get a brand new squad, it's going to take time to get chemistry, and you simply just don't have that time. It's plain and simple. On the other side, Accelerate, 1-6. All right, they've made some changes as well, which, again, I'm sure we'll talk on a little bit later on, Joe, but I don't think they have the panache to take on the likes of Splyce and LG. I could sit here and bore you with map records, but at the end of the day, both those 2 teams, they're just the better teams in the group.
All right, so you go with Splyce and Luminosity out of that one. And up next, we left one pool. It comes down to Pool D. The reason, well, we started off, we were talking about what's going to be the pool of death. Maybe we start with that question, but I think everybody agrees that Pool D is the pool of death. When you look at this one from top to bottom, there are some heavy hitters. Ben, we'll start with you. The top 2, who gets out into the winner's bracket out of Pool D?
So it's interesting. I had some kind of head-to-head records that I'll break down for you. United versus Reciprocity at Vegas. United 3-0 them. OG versus United Vegas, 3-1 Optic Gaming. OG versus Reciprocity at the Pro League, 3-1 Optic Gaming. MV 3-0 United at the Pro League. So some interesting numbers to break it down. Optic Gaming, without a doubt, they come out probably number 1, more than likely. We haven't seen Dashy play in quite some time. I'm sure he's ready and waiting to make a point and maybe answer any of the critics who just said, oh, well, they're not going to be the same. Oh, there's no Tempest. Whatever, doesn't matter. I think Optic Gaming comfortably come out number 1. Then the question to me is, who's number 2? There's an argument to be made for Reciprocity, and I think that's a very good argument, but that isn't who I'm going with. I just don't think they have it in them. I think you look at Envy, you look at Eunited. The safe bet here is Eunited in my mind. Envy have had a lot of struggles in their Game 5s, closing out series, and they just haven't looked decisive enough. They haven't been cutthroat enough. So for me, I'm playing it safe, Joe. I'm going to say United number 2.
Yeah, you're going for the top 2, right? The top 2 from Vegas. We're going to have that rematch Friday night at Fort Worth. It's going to be a fun one. Pack top 2, Pool D. Who you think?
Well, of course, I'm going to have to agree with him on the Optic. You just have to. And it's, for me, they're getting Dashy back, but more so, they're getting Scump back. Like, Scump for Maddox, he had a .97 throughout his time in the POQ. At Vegas, he had a 1.2 with a Salt. He's getting his roll back. It's just too hard to not see them come out on top. And then the second spot, I'm gonna go with the United as well. I just feel like even when they're struggling, even when they're not at their best, they always make it out of pools. When's the last time United didn't make it out of pools and winners? No one can tell me. They always make it out of pool and winners, and Envy just has too much inconsistency. Like, I could see them even beating United again like they did, but then losing Reciprocity and end up losing their map count record or something like that. Like, they're so inconsistent. They rely too much on Hook. The other players have stepped up a little bit. Silly definitely stepped up. But if they went back to that form where we just didn't see them performing at the high level together, would anyone be surprised? And I think the answer is no. United picked up JCap and Abizi. They've been so much more clutch. I have to go with the United.
Yeah, so both of you guys not really trusting Envy or Reciprocity just yet. Ant, the top 2 out of Pool D. Are you switching it up or you go with these guys?
All right, so they both pretty much talked about Optic, and I agree on both sides. The map record's obviously huge. You know, getting Scump back, obviously huge. Dashy as well. Optic's gonna get first. No doubt in my mind that they get first. On the side of the team that gets second, I think it's gonna be Envy. In the last match where we saw Envy play United, they destroyed them. It was 3-0, absolute obliteration. United's went through a lot of turmoil recently. I know that, Envy also had some talks, but they decided to stick it out. They decided to keep that team. And Envy, they looked a lot better towards the end. Their last couple of games, Apathy stepped up. Silly had monster performances the entire 2 weeks. Hook obviously had monster performances as well. And I think Envy is a team where if they go into that United match again, they have that history of where they beat them. All they have to do is just beat United. And I have them, convincingly beating Reciprocity as well. So I think it's going to be Optic first, Envy number 2, United. They could lose to Reciprocity too. I just don't have too much faith in that team after some of the matches they had to win.
Now that we're so close to the start of CWL Fort Worth, I gotta know, boys, who is winning the event? Pac, you're up first. We're gonna start with you. It's a tough question.
The clear favorite to win Fort Worth is Optic Gaming, and I know Ben knows that too. So, Ben, I would love a gentleman's agreement. If we could just argue another team. We both agree. Big Brucey's back.
I'll go with that. Yep.
Optic's the clear favorite.
Sure, I agree.
Let's argue another team.
Okay.
All right. So, my favorite to win CWL Fort Worth is Splyce. Now, I know Splyce struggled in their second week of the Pro League. Accuracy and Jerd probably had the worst week they could have. But in that first week, we were looking at that team like, is this the most dominant team that we've seen at the league so far? At Vegas, they were the team that challenged Optic Gaming the closest. Their match was so incredibly close. In my opinion, they have the best player in the game on their team in Tim. If they're all firing on all cylinders, they're an incredibly scary roster. All they have to do is come together and fix those mistakes that they had in the second week, and they could be that team to challenge Optic to win this tournament for sure. I don't see how you can argue against Splyce. They're too good when they're firing on all cylinders. They're way too good.
Fair enough. Joe, Pac's in the lead, right?
Yeah.
All right, so I'm going to go Optic Gaming. I think that was a clear. I'm kidding. Okay. I will do it like that. I'm thinking Thieves. Obviously, Joe, you were there when the end of last season, I had that bold prediction. Didn't even know the team. I said, I'm thinking 100 Thieves come out and look good.
You had an idea.
Rough idea, right? Rough idea. They were doo-doo. They were bad. bad, actually. PLQ somehow finished top 2, not sure how. Since then, though, Priesta. He is 100 Thieves. He is Nadeshot's holy grail. Okay, he is an incredible player and an incredible asset to that team. He's improved them not only in the game, but out the game as well. It feels like all good vibes. Everything seems great. You see the players hanging out, and you think, okay, that looks like a team, an actual team, a team, if you will. But in terms of their actual performances, everything is clicking for 100 Thieves right now. They are in a good run of form, and I think that's going to be important to try and steamroll that through, because when push comes to shove, there are some really good teams out there. Splyce, to your point, Patman, is definitely one of them that is going to contend. There can be no argument there. If you don't think they will, you're an idiot. But 100 Thieves definitely can on their day, and if they do have some good days come Dallas, I think they can win a championship.
Here they come. He's stuck to the pocket. He does just that. Tags up a second as well. Gunless now in with the help. They only need 2 seconds. That may do it. There's 1 player remaining. He is dead. And there's the championship.
I want to know who is winning CWL London. This is usually a finals question, but I think it's mid-season. It's one of our, third event of the year. I think there's a lot of different options that you can go with. Nameless, we're going to start with you. Who do you think is winning?
I think Luminosity is going to win. I think that they're the best team in the game still. They won the last event, and in the Pro League, they went to Game 5 in every single series, but at least they're winning their search and destroys. I think they've had time to go back and work on the respawn even more. And with all the roster changes going on, Luminosity keeping their team and working on their craft and improving upon winning that last event, I think they're going to be a force to be reckoned with there. And don't forget, the last event that was in the UK, who won it? It was Luminosity. I think they'll be fantastic.
Pac, for you, who do you think is winning London?
First off, I want to say that I think this is the first time in a long time where it's hard to determine who the favorite is going into the event. But for this one, for me, I'm going to go with the 100 Thieves. And here's why. Their only losses on LAN recently, they lost to Reciprocity, but that was without Priesta, and then they lost to Red Reserve and Midnight. So if they can avoid those snags where they're playing teams are underperforming against teams that they should beat, I think they'll be great. They 3-0'd Reciprocity, who got third at LAN. Then they 3-0'd Optic. Like, they looked phenomenal, and all they have to do is avoid those little snags, like I said, and I feel like they're going to be the favorite to go in and win the event.
It's a tough one for you.
You want the answer using my brain, or you want the answer using my heart, Joe?
I think I got to go with your heart.
Yeah,
come on. Got to go with the heart.
Give it the heart.
You can give us both.
You know what? But the brain, the logical one for me at least is 100 Thieves. But where I'm going with my heart, I have to think that Denal can come out and produce just a moment of brilliance. I really do. Obviously, we'll talk about the team roster a little bit and whether they've improved, whether they haven't. They definitely have in my mind. I think you get Bance running a role which he wants to run. Now, more importantly, going back to a sub, he's going to be in a comfortable level. You bring in Alex, who's a player we've been talking about for so long, Joe. Every time we talk about trading shots, it's like, oh, well, WrestleMania, who's going to come? Finally, we get to see him. I think the components of the team, I think, are great. You have Brack as well, who's been a standout player to me throughout the season. Now he has a good opportunity. Plus, I have to say it, the home crowd. They have a team to cheer for. They have multiple teams to cheer for now, which is an exciting time as a European. I'm just praying they don't let me down.
They're in the hard point, just 2 more points needed. There's no contest, and we've got a new champion. It is 100 Thieves that do it.
Who is in your finals at Anaheim? I know there's a couple of teams that everybody's thinking about, but for you, Nameless, you're up first. Who are those 2 teams?
It is going to be 100 Thieves versus Eunited. Eunited has looked incredible. You heard me talk about them earlier. Pristini going off. He's the best he's ever been. 100 Thieves, they get that wake-up call. They got 3-0'd by Eunited, and now they went back, they fixed their mistakes, and they won one of the most incredible series I've seen. It was a 3-0 in 25 minutes. Their Search and Destroy has looked that much better. When they lost to Eunited, they lost Payload, Search and Destroy. They lost Arsenal Control. What did they do? They played those same 2 maps in the next 2 series, and they dominated Payload both times. They won 6-2, then 6-1, and they won both of those Arsenal Controls. 100 Thieves is on top of their game. That loss woke them up. They will get back to the final, but this time it'll be against a new and improved Eunited who's been working on everything.
All right, so you're going 100 Thieves Eunited, a bit of a rematch. Pack, to you now, who is in your grand finals? I think there's 3 teams everybody's focused on for Anaheim. Are you switching it up?
Yeah, I'm going to go with United. I picked them as my favorite. And then I'm going to put them in the finals against Optic Gaming. Optic Gaming has Crim6, the GOAT of Call of Duty. Before last season, he was in half of the finals. He's been in 1 already. There's been 3 tournaments. This is about to be the 4th. 2. That's half. Optic's about to make it back Optic's about to make it back to another final. Now, in terms of 100 Thieves going back-to-back, you know how hard it is to go back-to-back? Usually in COD, if a team goes back-to-back, they are way ahead at the time. Even TK was way ahead. Rise was ahead, and that's why before that, the last team to go back-to-back was when Optic and IW at the end. There was a bunch of different winners. It's just that hard. When you're the winner, people focus on you. People are ready for what you have to do. They're aware of your vetoes and everything. 100 Thieves is not that far ahead anymore. It's just too hard to go back-to-back. Optic was 1 choke away from going up 2-1 in the winners finals against 100 Thieves to get to that final. I'm telling you, keeping Optic out of this final is blasphemous against Crim6's legacy. He's gonna make it back.
And 100 Thieves do it. Nobody there for Gen.G, and that's back to back.
Today's quick scope, we'll go through the play-in bracket and make our picks for the first round. We'll start with Team Envious versus UYU. Boys, who comes out on top? Nameless, you're definitely in last place. You can go first.
Yeah, I think that this is probably the worst matchup in the bracket. I think that Envy and UIU both look absolutely terrible. The thing about Envy is they have players who sort of can flip that switch in the big tournaments at the end of the year, so I guess I have a little bit more faith in them.
I'm going to go with UIU. I feel like...
UIU?
Yeah, because both teams are terrible right now, but here's the thing. We saw UIU play pre-SOG patch, and I think that can only help Saints and Classic play better.
I think I favor Envy going into it. I think it is a much closer match than maybe a lot of people are thinking about it, because I think UYU does have the talent to match Envy. But yeah, Envy has Gunless. The thing for me is a single elim bracket. You have a ton of time to prep going into that match, and I think Envy with Bevels, they will have the advantage there.
We have E6 versus Evil Geniuses. Pat, we'll start this one off with you.
This one's hard because I think these are two of the better teams to me that are in the play-in bracket, and I'm gonna go with Evil Geniuses.
I pick Evil Geniuses in this. The reason is they have players who have been so far in the tournaments. You have Axie, who's gotten top 3 twice in this game, and you just have like players that are starting to gradually get better. Attach is in his prime in this game right now.
I am going EG, and this might be a surprise to a lot of people because Enigma 6, they got top 6 a couple of times this year. EG, to your point, I mean, they've gotten last, but the thing to me, veterans, and what you want in a single elim bracket is veterans. And the Pack's point earlier in the last matchup, the SOG buff, and this should help Evil Geniuses out.
Elevate versus Midnight. Joe, you have a quite sizable lead, so I'll let you go first.
Yeah, I think when you talk about this matchup, this is maybe some of the weaker matchups, but these teams already placed. We just watched it on Monday, and well, Midnight was able to win 3-1 over Elevate. and I think they're going to do it again. I think Midnight is a clear favorite here. I think that they showed this is a solid team this last week throughout this cross-division play.
I think I'm going to go Midnight as well. We saw that match, like Joe said, and they won. And the thing about Midnight is Zaptia's been playing great as well. Like, it hasn't just been Frosty, it's been all of them. And, you know, I think Parasite as well on this team, he's starting to play a lot better. We saw him drop like 35 and 19 in a series versus Envy yesterday, and I was like, excuse me?
It's Midnight. There's only one answer. It's just the teamwork aspect that they talked about right now. Midnight just has it. And
Units versus Luminosity. And I've honestly lost track of giving away that many points, but I'm just going to assume you are in last place. No offense. So we'll start with you.
I'm going to go Luminosity. They've looked really good, right? Like, they have Brack, who's been dropping 45s.
So you're going against Europe, just to clarify.
I think Units is going to win the match. You know why?
Purely for points.
Cammy, Wee Man, you guys, they looked really, really strong in Respawn. And guess what? The Saw got buffed after that. And they're going to get stronger. And I think that the problem with Luminosity this whole time has been the Sogs.
I think a lot of people thought Luminosity was the team that was going to be the one in. But this is very much a trap match. I think Maven was like, wow, this is a scary one. I am favoring Luminosity in the form that they were at. I think they do have the superstars, the roles. Everything makes sense now. I want to know who has the best chance of making it out of the play-in bracket. I think we know LG is going to the play-in bracket, and I think everybody would say them. All three of you would agree they probably have the best shot.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
So I'm going to avoid no Luminosity on this answer.
Dang it.
Okay. Who else? Who do you think is going to be the one team to make it through the play-in bracket? It's a single limb bracket. It's going to be difficult. Ben, who's that team for you?
You know what, Joe? I'm going to go a little outside the box here, and I'm going to put some faith in a team, which maybe I shouldn't, but I'm going to go E6. Now, E6 is a team which, to me, has improved since the get-go. They were obviously all the way back at the PLQ, a team which not very many people had faith in. I did. I said they were going to qualify for the league. They did just that. They make team changes. We look at them, we say, you're crazy. Why are you making team changes? You get your highest placement yet. Change the team again, which is bizarre to many, many people. But I think this is a team now where the components are clicking. Kismet is starting so strong in his respawns. The search and destroy is there. It's just about the specialist usage. It's the one thing I've been saying for weeks and weeks and weeks. Their specialist usage isn't good enough. You improve that, I think they get there.
I'm going to go Envy. Now, it's hard to feel good about this because we haven't really seen them play, as we'll be getting into that next week. But if you take a look at like EG last year with that team with Pat and Silly and how up and down they were, we got like second in Seattle, don't make playoffs, win champs, like they were all over. You got fourth with Envy at London, then it's been absolutely horrendous since. I feel like maybe we just get a little spike here now with this Envy team. Gunless comes in, you have the honeymoon period. Do I think this team falls apart? Sure, but the honeymoon period, if it's going to hit, it's now. It's at playoffs. Maybe Aches and Gunless can make a run.
Can't go worse than 0-12.
Yeah, that is true.
You just said it. I'm going with Evil Geniuses. They have guys that are champions. They've been everywhere. They cap, attach, J-cap. I just said that. Apathy.
App and J-cap.
Yeah. They're gonna make it through. These guys are superstar players, legends in the scene. They're gonna do it. They have a superstar in attach now. I just think they went to Game 5 every game this week. Last time we saw a team do that was E6. And what they do, they came out, got top 6 through winners, and was one game away from making it to top 3. I just think that EG is super strong right now. I think that this week is a confidence booster for them. And I think they're going to get back to the top.
Someone from UYU needs to make the hero play. They need to do it now. They're not going to be able to even touch the hill. And EG, in dominant fashion, send UYU home and progress to the playoff bracket.
Starting it off, Gen.G versus Splyce. I want to know who's going to win that match. Ben, we're starting it off with you. This is a tough one.
I honestly don't have too much faith with Gen.G right now. I know we're going to talk a little bit about them later on, but it seems like they're a little confused. Some roster changes come through. But do I want to believe they can do it? Sure. They were just in a grand final, right? And that's key. You want to see teams build off success, and being in a grand final is no easy thing this year, right? And I really want to see them just kind of focus up and really go as hard as they possibly can come playoffs. That's what I want to see. But Joe, again, I just don't know how much faith I can really have in this Gen.G squad. Like, I really want to, but then you think about Splyce, and you think about the young guys, you think about Hook, you think about Temp, and you want to see them succeed. When WrestleMania happened, Joe, I said, they've won. It's been easy. They haven't shown me that yet. But with all that said, I think playoffs is the time we get to see Splyce really play well.
I mean, I think Splyce is a great team, but I have Gen.G winning that. Gen.G just looked great, right? Like, even though they make that change with Spacey, they still go 4-0, and they win 3 on their last match. I'm like, okay, they're going to keep him. They look, pretty much the same, maybe a little better. They bring Nagafin back in. That's fine. Nagafin was great. They got second. And I think that this team is solid at Respawn. Envoy's been absolutely dominating. Havoc's playing the best he's played all season long.
I do think that Splyce can do it, and that's because I think that we haven't seen Splyce post SOG patch, and if there's a team with the SOGs that are able to keep up with Envoy and Havoc, it's gonna be Hook and Jerd. And then if they do have to go to those frequency hardpoints, their third SOG is most likely gonna be Temp.
The other confirmed match is 100 Thieves versus Faze. In the past, Faze has struggled to win against them. Do you think they have what it takes now? Pac, we're going to start with you. You think they got what it takes?
I really don't. I think that this is just the biggest uphill battle for this team in particular, just because of the styles of gameplay for both teams. What they're both good at is Respawn. That's what they're both great at, what they excel at. But 100 Thieves is just that much better than them at the Respawn. We saw when they played in the league, 100 Thieves absolutely dismantled Faze.
I mean, Pac pretty much hit the nail on the head right there. Like, Zero was absolutely amazing in Anaheim, and then since then he hasn't been as great. And, for them, it's really the AR battle that Faze struggles with against 100 Thieves. 100 Thieves have so much power on that AR side that their map pool just completely destroys Faze.
100 Thieves, they're favored to win the whole thing, Joe.
Yep.
But upsets have to happen. They just do. It's not necessarily going to happen in my mind, but I could see it happening, right? There is a world, there is a universe out there where Faze beat 100 Thieves round 1.
A world of work to do. Kenny is down. Faze, move on. 100 Thieves bounce to the losers bracket.
Well, boys, it's simple. Of all the teams competing, who walks away with the win? Pac, you're in the lead. We're starting with you.
I'm so happy that I predicted this months and months ago. Just because you're the best team at a point does not mean you're going to be that team when it matters at the end. And everyone's calling me crazy.
So who's going to win then?
I'm going with 100 Thieves. I'm picking Thieves. And I said 100 Thieves was going to win.
How can you possibly say 100 Thieves after what we've seen?
And now argue against them. 100 Thieves is going to win playoffs. You had your time to talk. It's my turn to talk.
There is no chance in hell I would say 100 Thieves has any chance at winning a championship, let alone the entire season.
100 Thieves go back to back.
I'm going with 100 Thieves. I'm picking Thieves. I'm picking Thieves. I'm picking Thieves.
It's very tough, Joe. 100 Thieves are a very good team. But just for the sake of argument, I got to say, I think Optic's going to turn up. I think they're going to win this tournament. I think they're going to be great.
Eunited have done it. We've got a new champ.
It's Benson versus Momo. The winner will enter the Smack Talk Winner Circle presented by ASTRO Gaming. Boys, it is a simple question. Who walks away with it all and wins the CWL Championship? Ben, you're in the lead. You're up.
This is tough.
It's a tough one.
It's tough because there's a lot of teams that you can make great arguments for, and I think United is one of them. I hate to do it. I'm so happy that they got a championship, especially at Miami. Happy for Clay. The run is over for, of course, the Tiny Terrors. They get there first. But I have to say 100 Thieves. I have to say it. And I think here's the scary thing. When you ask this question to any of the talent on our talent team, I think they all will say 100 Thieves. There's something about them. Yes, they didn't win Miami. Yes, they're upset. But again, I have to bring up the boot camp. They've surrounded themselves now with fantastic SORG teams. That was their problem. They're going to learn. And they have the experience when it comes to the big stage. Of course they do. You look at what Slasher's been able to achieve. COD Champs, I think you see a different Slasher. I think you see just an even more scary Slasher, which doesn't make it easy for anybody else. That's for sure. I think we're talking about the best team in this game. And I think they'll finish as the best team in this game.
I think you are right with the whole. If you ask who's the favorite, I think a lot of people look at 100 Thieves.
I feel like Phil. Phil has to say 100 Thieves too.
I mean, Ben said if you ask any talent member, they will say 100 Thieves. This talent member agrees and proves his point. I do think 100 Thieves. I think they end this year as the best Black Ops 4 team, and I think yes, they had their dip in form, if you want to call it that, but they won back-to-back championships. They're such a well-rounded team. It's not even a joke. But I do look at the other competition as well. You look at the likes of Gen.G, back-to-back seconds. Faze, I see, holes in their championship Sunday. You look at all the teams surround them, which is so much competition, but they all have this little bit that's missing, whether it's Rec, whether it's Luminosity. Optic Gaming, whatever you want to call it. There's something that I don't say they're going to win COD champs, but 100 Thieves, I just see it in the stars. These guys come out on top, they take the trophy and solidify themselves as the best Black Ops 4 team that there was.
Christini takes down 2. It can all end here. It's on Octane. It's on Slasher. Eunited do it. They go back to back.
A massive shout out to everyone at MLG. You guys are awesome. You guys are absolutely fantastic. Everyone behind the scenes, the production can make all of our live shows. You guys kill it every single time. Best in the business without a shadow of a doubt. To the rest of the talent team, thank you for joining me throughout all of the year.
And lastly, I think we want to give a shout out to the fans, all of you guys who stuck around, all the viewers as well. Thank you guys so much. We've had a ton of fun this year, but we're going to do it one last time. Let's go ahead and bring up the graphic. The show wins. We're going to see it.
There it is.
That is the score
Wait,
of
run
the
it,
game.
run it up, Joe. Hit it one more time.
You want to hit it
hit it one more time.
Bang.
Bang.
Bang. Bang.
I even used
bang.
Pat's catchshrase.
And there you have it. That's going to do it for the show. Thank you all so very much for watching. Champs is done.
I'm keeping this, by the way.
See ya.